This is my new invention. This is what I am calling a sweater quilt, and this is my practice test piece. And I had just done a video on sewing with bulky knits, and I have several bulky sweaters or just general weight sweaters that I needed to use up, and I didn't want to throw them away. They had somewhat of a sentimental value, but they were commercial made, so they weren't hand knits, but well, they were hand knits, but not by any of us. And I had extra fabric. So what I have come up with, and this is a test piece, is the bulky weight yarn cut into squares and sewn just like a quilt. And in this case, this is a fleece fabric that I have on the other side. This particular piece is 3 rows by 10 squares wide, and I'm not sure how large I would make a full quilt. Probably a twin size if I were doing that. But what I'm doing now is using my 1588, my Singer 1588 from 1937, to quilt this. And I'm making a video just to show you that I'm probably going to use this sweater side up. Because, for example, if you use one of these on a bed, to have a wool side up and, say, a cotton side near you would be preferable, I think, and yet the wool would trap warmth and really make it a nice warm quilt. You also don't need any batting because the sweater itself acts as a batting. So that's why I'm calling this a sweater quilt. And what is easiest is to quilt it from the fabric side and not the yarn side. So that's what I'm doing now on my 1588 treadle. And I'll just do a row for you. And I think this is an idea that maybe others could use too. I mean, there are a few books out now on how to upcycle sweaters. And I have one. I haven't even looked at it yet because it was more about dresses and things like that. And I like to make things that are more practical than clothes for the most part. I mean, I have clothes, but if I'm going to use recycle fabrics and I want something that's going to be functional yet durable, I'm more likely to make a quilt or a blanket or something functional rather than clothes. Please excuse my hands. I've been working with India ink and it will take me a few days to get it all off of me. So here I go, and this is just so easy. Now, in my other video, both my Brother LX3014 and my 1588, probably any of my vintage machines could handle this. And the reason I'm not doing this on the newer Brother is I happen to like the heavy cast iron action of an old machine, so that I don't have to think about much except making sure I do a straight line. I really like the Brother, the new Brother, but this is what I consider a heavy-duty project, and I naturally go to a heavy Singer for my first choice, or a white. I have antique white too. You can see that, and in the video I made yesterday regarding sewing bulky weight fabrics, there are very heavy seam allowances under there. You can see that the Singer has no problem whatsoever doing this. I'm using even a red bobbin thread because this is a test sample, and the red will actually fall into the sweater area anyway. But, so there's the wool side, if you can see that. What it's going to look like is really just a quilt made out of wool. And on this side, which in this case is the stars, it's going to look like an average patchwork quilt. So this is a project that I think I'm going to be doing again, depending on how many sweaters I have. I don't necessarily want to go out and buy a lot of sweaters, but I'm sure the next time I'm at the thrift store, if I see sweaters for $1 or $2 a piece, and I know I can get, I got 35 4 3/4 inch patches or squares out of a medium size bulky knit sweater. So if I can get that much fabric for like $1, then that's what I'll do. Otherwise, I'll use up knits that I have. I have a queen size knit blanket that is old, and I'm not sure why I still have it. It's one of those blankets that you've had it around for so long you don't get rid of it. But I'm thinking that because it's a cotton knit, that also might be an idea for a sweater quilt, because I could put cotton muslin on one side and the knit blanket squares on the other side, and that would make a lighter weight quilt. So like I said, this is my new idea, a sweater quilt.